compare these two floor tray liners here for your Ford F-150 King Ranch pickup trucks here to see which one is better. In my left hand here, I am holding the Husky Xact Contour floor liner, and on my right here, I'm holding the OEM. This is the Ford OEM version of the tray liner that comes with your Ford King Ranch truck here. And we're going to see which one looks best. So today we're going to determine which of these two tray liners here is the best. Okay, so here is the tray style floor liner that normally comes with the FX4 package when you buy the Ford F-150 pickup truck here. Okay, so if you don't get these floor liners here included with your FX4 package, which is a $905 package, you would have to pay $175 extra for these as an option. And that price would include the two front tray liners here, as well as the larger one in the rear. So you're getting 3 tray liners total. Okay, so here is the rear tray floor liner here. And you can see the key difference right there is that raised wall edge around it that would dam up anything that you would spill on it. Okay, now here you can see that the Ford tray liner here just barely goes underneath the 2 seats, and it leaves a clearance around the center console in the middle there. So if you have a spill, you still run the risk of it hitting the carpeting there. So some of the owners were complaining about that. And then also here, if you look at how the Ford OEM floor liner here comes down here on the side, but it doesn't cover the carpet there. You can still see some of the carpet there. So that's going to collect a lot of dirt underneath it as well. Also, something I wanted to point out to you here on the Ford F-150 truck OEM tray liner here for the floor, this is different compared to some of the aftermarket ones. Okay, so because there's a hole here, you pretty much have no choice. You sort of have to snap it in there. You line it up and then just snap it into place. Some of the others don't have the through hole. They just have a little crevice underneath, and you would just snap it in from underneath optionally. Now, one thing we wanted to point out to you here is that a lot of the King Ranch owners here have complained about the fact that, as you know, the King Ranch options here, this trim level is all brown interior with the carpeting, but yet Ford supplies you with the black floor tray liners if you buy that option. So there was nothing here to match the brown of the carpeting. Okay, so here is the Husky Xact Contour tray liner here on the floor here installed, and you can see first thing right off the bat, it's brown, so it matches the color of the carpeting here. And you can see this one here, the difference between this one and the Ford is that this one here goes all the way underneath the gas pedal there, whereas the Ford does not, likely because of liability issues and past problems that Ford and Toyota have had with the gas pedals. Okay, so now you can see here, as positioned by the owner, this was their favorable position to put it in here. You can see here that the tray liner from Husky here just barely tries to cover the King Ranch logo here. But keep in mind, this is not positioned the way the company engineered it and wants you to put it in. Because if you look back up here where this is the top side of where the underside hole is, the round mortise. And that's supposed to snap on to the little rivet there on the floor underneath. But if you were to connect it there where it's supposed to be and snap it in, you're going to find the alignment's going to be off here. So let's show you that. So here you can see we're going to reposition it a little bit more to make it fit right over that snap. And if you do that and snap it down, now look what happens here. Okay, so here you can see the side of the floor liner here is covering the word King, which is supposed to be right here, King Ranch, see? Now that might be a non-issue for some people who don't care. Okay, so if you have one of the lower trim levels of the Ford F-150 pickup trucks here, you won't have this nameplate here anyway, so it would be a non-issue for you. And of course it is preferable to have this here as it gives you more protection as it covers that part of the area over here. Okay, so here you can see here the dam wall here on the perimeter of the F-150 floor liner here from Husky is a lot taller than the wall that they have built onto the OEM Ford F-150 floor liner. So this could theoretically do a better job at trapping any types of liquids that land on there. And there in the back behind the pedals you can see how high this Husky floor liner here goes. Okay, so for liability reasons here, Husky tells you that you must use these floor rivets here with this mortise hole right here in order to keep the floor liner in place here. Okay, so we just push it down over the rivet like this. But the owner of this particular Ford F-150 King Ranch pickup truck here prefers to have his in the location that you see it right here, where it's not blocking the King Ranch nameplate. It simply just stays put, and one of the reasons it stays put for him is, so you can see all of these spikes here in the bottom of the floor liner here, and those really dig into the carpet and keep it from moving. Now you can imagine there's hundreds and hundreds of these on here. That's not going to allow this floor liner here to move at all. Okay, so one of the first things that we spotted here that we liked about this Husky liner here is that when it does this waterfall effect, it comes over the edge and it extends out horizontally here to protect all of this area as well. And of course it too has the higher dam wall right here to protect against any spills. Okay, so there's actually 4 different models you can get, but two different trims on this particular model of the floor liner here. This is called the full coverage, and the other model is called the footwell coverage. And what that one does is it only covers just the area where your feet are going. This one covers the full area because, as you can see, it extends under both the seats and it conforms perfectly around the center console there. And here you can see with the rear seat downward here, this tray liner here comes all the way to the very back. It actually hits the back stop there. Okay, whereas if you bought the footwell version of this, it doesn't necessarily go as far underneath the seat as this one does. Okay, so the reason why this particular floor liner was chosen for this Ford F-150 King Ranch pickup truck was that this comes in 2 colors, black and cocoa. This is what matches the brown carpeting for the Ford King Ranch F-150 pickup trucks here. They have other models here in the Weather Beater series, but they're basically black, gray, and tan, and the tan wouldn't match this color. So that's why we went with this particular color here, because it matches most closely the Ford F-150 King Ranch truck brown carpeting color. Okay, so here you can see how closely the Husky tray liner here conforms around the King Ranch center console on the rear floor here. Remember, this is the full coverage model. And here you can see, if you look at it close up here, they could have done a little bit better job cutting it around and shaping it around the console. It looks like they sort of made a lazy man's wedge-shaped cut here. Again, this is not a deal breaker. It still does its job and holds up closely there. And as you can see here, right there, it does give you kind of a bump up so that anything that you spill here will be caught. It will not rise up there. Now here is the view on the passenger side of how the Husky tray liner here lines up with and fits while the door is closed. And here you can see it underneath the front passenger seat here. So not only does this full coverage liner here extend under the seat, but it also curls up. So this way it truly is a pan liner, and anything that you spill in here should easily be caught. That dam wall looks to be about an inch and a half tall. Here you can see under the back seat here how the Husky tray liner here fits all the way up and underneath the power inverter there. And you can see in the corner there, see how it still curves up there, thereby catching anything that you would spill. So it does a pretty good job. Husky liner here side by side with the Ford OEM. This is the original floor liner here that Ford gives you in the F-150 King Ranch pickup truck here. And you can already see right off the bat the difference in size here between the two here. So particularly with this tab here that goes right over the door jamb, compare that to the little stub out that you have here on the F-150 liner here. This one gives you much better coverage. Also, this one seems to go up, reach a little bit further up than the F-150 one does. So if you look here too, side by side, this gives you a lot better grip here, we think. And the wall here, the retaining wall for liquid spillage, is better here on this one. So the other benefit of having these deep treads here that you can see here compared to the much more narrow treads here, if you spill something here, it's likely to stay localized into this area, and it's going to stay below your feet. So your shoes are likely not going to be stomping around in it, whereas here it's going to go all over the place here because it's not deep enough to stop the liquid from moving. And then also look over here, this would be the gas pedal area on the Ford F-150 King Ranch pickup truck floor liner here. And it's missing in action compared to the area here that goes under the gas pedal here on the Husky liner. And then also here, if you look at this part here that comes pretty much under the right-hand side of the front seat as you're sitting in the seat, this has coverage here, whereas the Ford F-150 version of it seems to leave off quite a bit here, another area that's missing in action there. Okay, now as you pick both of these up and look here, it appears that the Ford F-150 liner here, the rubber one, is more or less about 1/8 of an inch or so, but the tray liner here from Husky seems to be closer to 1/4 of an inch, and it seems to be a tougher version. So the Ford F-150 here feels more like it's pure rubber, whereas the Husky one feels like a combination of rubber and plastic, but it just feels thicker and more ruggedized and more like it'll retain its shape under high heat environments. So this is the carbuyingtipscom exclusive view, folks. You'll only see it here. Here's the Ford F-150 tray liner placed on top of the brown Husky tray liner here, and you can see the difference in material showing through here on the Husky liner, how much more coverage it has than the Ford F-150. Okay, so other advantages that we feel that the Husky floor liner here has over the OEM Ford F-150 liner is, first of all, it's thicker. Second of all, here, if you look at the deeper tread lines here and how it would trap liquids better, and also if you look at the dam walls that go around the perimeter here, it would certainly trap any spilt liquids better than the Ford one here. And it has more coverage too if you look at the size differential between these two here. It's a little bit more expensive here because this one is about $225 compared to $175 for this one here. But we feel that the extra money is well justified. And by the way, we'll put all the links to that below because it can be somewhat confusing with all the models out there to get the right one here. Okay, remember you have to buy these two separately. So the box that comes here for the front tray liners here is the smaller one here, and then this bigger one here is for the rear tray liner. So remember, you have to buy them as two separate items. There's 2 liners in here and 1 liner in here. Well, I hope you're finding this video useful so far, and if you are, hey, do us a favor, please. Give us a thumbs up down below. That lets us know that you like us, and it helps our videos rank better. And also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, let me give you some reasons why. Because we have all of the best videos on the market here for learning everything you need to know about buying new cars, used cars, leasing, and car dealer scams, and the tool reviews that we do here. So make sure you click on that subscribe button down below there. And when you do that, click that little tiny gray bell icon next to it, because otherwise we'll upload videos all day long and you'll never know about it. So clicking that gray bell icon tells YouTube to alert you every time we upload a video so you don't miss a single one. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you all on the next one.